Hi boys and girls, my name is Pat Skene. As you can see from the balloons behind me, today's my birthday. But like many of you out there during this virus, I'm in isolation. So I thought what better thing to do on my birthday than to read you one of my favorite stories called Smilin Jack. And it's from this book, What a Hippopota-Mess, published by Orca Book Publishers. There are 6 stories in this book, and Smilin Jack is one of them. Now, have you ever looked into the water on a very calm day when the water is like glass? And when you look in the water, what do you see? Well, of course, you see your own face looking back at you, right? Well, this story is about a lizard, a frog, and an otter who look into the water on a very calm day, but they don't know who it is that's looking back at them. So let's get on with the story. So once there was a lizard by the name of Smilin Jack who was looking in the water at a lizard looking back. So he asked his friend the otter, he said, "Ot, what should I do?" And the otter said, "I gotta see who's looking back at you." When he looked in the water, the otter said, "I see not a lizard, but an otter, and he's looking back at me." So the lizard and the otter went to see their friend the frog, who was leaping on the lily pads around the foggy bog. "Hey, Croak," called out the lizard, "could we have some of your time? Is someone down there looking back below the waterline?" The frog said, "I can take a look to see what I can see, but we could all look in together. You could all look in with me." They leaned toward the water for a better look close up, their noses nearly touching the other noses pointing up. 6 goggled eyes looked quite surprised when 6 eyes goggled back. They stared at the otter, Croak the frog, and Smilin Jack. The otter said, "Who can they be? They are a handsome bunch. They might be here to scare us. Do you think they want our lunch?" And Jack said, "Maybe there's a way to put our minds to rest. We'll find out if they're friend or foe. Let's put them to a test." "Yes, we oughta," cried the otter, and the frog croaked, "I agree. Let's wave and smile and show them we're as friendly as can be." And so they did, and so it was that all of them waved back. "Good day," cried the otter, croaked the frog, and Smilin Jack. Then said, "Well, I'm diving in. I want to say hello. They're waving up, we're waving down, so let's all go below." And Jack said, "Let's jump on their heads," and he grinned that lizard grin. Splash went the frog into the bog, and all of them leaped in. Now deep beneath the water they began to check around. They listened for those strangers, but they never heard a sound. The otter held his breath so long that he was turning blue. He gurgled through the bubbles, "Let's keep looking for a clue." They peeked beneath the lily pads and looked behind the reeds, and Croak said, "I can see them hiding in that clump of weeds." But it was only Callie and her catfish friends at play, and when they saw that bug-eyed frog, those mudcats swam away. "Where can they be?" the otter said. "There's nowhere left to look. I've even talked to Archibald in Snapping Turtle Nook. He said to ask the pitcher plants, but they were catching food. They wouldn't say one word to me. Those hairy plants are rude." "They're rude, all right," said Smilin Jack. "On that we all agree. Now where do you suppose that those 3 smiling guys could be?" "Oh no," cried the otter. "Do you think they stole our lunch? I always thought the 3 of them looked like a slippery bunch." But all their snacks were safe and looked delicious like before, and then the sky grew dark as night and rain began to pour. While thunder crashed, the lightning flashed, it put on quite a show. "I wonder," said the otter, "if they're watching from below." "Let's tiptoe to the water," said the frog. "They could be there." Their goggled eyes stared in the pond while rain splashed everywhere. Then Smilin Jack said, "It's the storm that scared those three away. They've disappeared, but maybe they'll come back another day." And that's the way they left it, and they went and ate their lunch. They talked about the weather and about that handsome bunch. They told the tale to all their friends. 6 goggled eyes looked back. What a day for Ott the otter, Croak the frog, and Smilin Jack. So those silly animals didn't even know that they were looking at themselves in their reflection. After I write a story, I always have lots of questions for the characters. So I put up an interview with Smilin Jack, and I asked him a series of 8 questions because there are things that I wanted to know that only he could give me the answer to. So the first question I wanted to know was, how did you get a name like Smilin Jack? And he said, "Look at my face and you'll know the answer. I've always smiled a lot because it makes me feel good. I was born this way." And if you look at a lizard, you'll see that their mouth goes all the way around like that. And they look like they're smiling all the time. I said, "What kind of lizard are you?" He said, "I'm called a gecko, but there are 2,500 different kinds of lizards. Some can even squirt blood from their eyes. Those are called horned lizards. Frilled lizards have big, funny collars around their necks." What's a pitcher plant, I wanted to know, because that was mentioned in the story. And he said, "These are really cool carnivorous plants. That means that they eat meat. They like to live in marshy places and eat bugs like water insects and mosquito eggs. They catch them with their hairy jaws and they squeeze the juice right out of them." Sounds yummy, doesn't it? I said, "What do frogs eat?" And he said, "Frogs like bugs and worms mostly. Some bullfrogs can catch and eat a bat. Frogs swallow their food whole. They absorb water through their skin so they don't have to drink." Now that's pretty cool. I said, "What does Ott the otter like to do?" He said, "Otters are very smart and really know how to have fun. Ott likes to slide headfirst on his stomach down a muddy hill, and he does it over and over and over again." Did you know that otters are part of the skunk family? I think they smell a little better though, which is good. The 6th question I asked him was, why did Ott the otter turn blue? And he said, "Otters love to do somersaults and acrobats underwater. They can hold their breath for up to 4 minutes, but they don't really turn blue." I just put that in the story. They also like to wrestle with each other and do belly flops into the water, so they really love having fun. The 7th question was, what is the weirdest thing you've ever seen in the pond? Now listen up, because this is a great question. He said, "There are lots of strange critters in the pond. Frogs have got to be the weirdest. When they eat something that isn't good for them," okay, are you listening? When they eat something that isn't good for them, you know, like when you eat too many hot dogs or too much pop. Some frogs, some species of frogs, can throw up their whole stomach. The stomach stays attached and hangs out of their mouth, and then the frog cleans it with their front leg and swallows it back down again. Yucky. Anyway, not all frogs do that, but there are some species of frogs that can throw up their stomach to clean their stomachs out. The last question I asked was, do you ever think you'll see those guys in the water again? And Smilin Jack said, "Oh, I'm sure of it. One of them was down there the other day when I looked in. It was the lizard and he was alone." Well, of course it was alone. It was looking at himself, right? He might be shy, so I think he'll come back on a sunny day with his friends to say hello. And that was the end of the interview. So I hope you enjoyed that story. It's one of my favorites. And I hope you're having a good day, whatever you're doing. And we'll see you again the next time. Bye for now.